Greetings to everyone tuning into this video from myself, Pastor Ludwig Skimper, Executive Director of Ministries. I'd like to just get excited about 2026 and be grateful for what God has done in 2025. God has been amazing in bringing about an incredible foundational transformation in Ministries. God is positioning Ministries to be the platform, or one of the platforms, because we're not the only one, that enables God to reach the next generation of leaders across Africa. We believe that there is an incredible emergency or need in Africa, in the world, but for us, we focus on Africa. We believe that there is a crisis within leadership in all spheres. We believe in the spheres of ministry, spheres in the marketplace, and spheres in the community leadership. There's a crisis of leaders, where leaders hold on to their own crowns and build their own kingdoms, where greed has infiltrated every aspect of leadership. That's why we see so many coups or so many issues of corruption at every level. That's why we see so much going on in many countries where Christianity is supposed to be majority or large part of it. And these things are not in keeping with the Bible. These leaders, they do not represent Jesus in their governments, in their churches, in their homes, in their lives. And so we call on a revolution or a momentum or a movement which is not political, but which is Christ-centered. For there to be leaders that rise and say that we will be Jesus' hands and feet everywhere. And so we as Ministries, we call everyone to action. 2026 will be a big year for us, where we have a number of events, projects, and collaborations that start to come into being. We call on everyone for a new age in Africa. An age where Jesus infiltrates leadership and people start to look like Jesus and start to act like Jesus. We call on churches and ministries to put away all these things that have been sidelining their focus. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Let's take hands and work together so that Jesus can invade nations. So that witchcraft, so that radicalization from Islam, so that all these influences can lose ground. Do you know that Africa is the leading place for Christians to be killed for their faith? 1 in 4 people in the world will be African from now on. What potential Africa has. Do you know that the median age of Africa is now just under 20? Meaning I'm almost double the age of the average African. What potential we as Africans have to influence the world stage for Jesus Christ. But unfortunately, darkness prevails. So as Ministries, we call everyone to action. We call the church, the body of Christ, to action. No longer to remain silent, no longer to sit on the sidelines, but we need to speak the words of Jesus in our communities, in our homes. We call on a fatherless continent for there to be mentors that rise up, for there to be a spirit of mentorship to be in the world. We need to get busy. Like the scene that's happening outside where there's a lot of construction, the body of Christ needs to get active. We're not just a fancy parade, but we are a body of action. We need to get stuck into the work of the Lord. So often sidelined by petty differences or tribalism or racism or denominationalism. Differences matter, but not so much that we should not work together. I challenge and call the body of Christ to action. As Ministries, we invite everyone to join us and others as the Spirit of God is moving over His body, for there to be a kingdom focus and no longer a selfish agenda. Together, we can bring the greatest sustained transformative revival in Africa that the world has ever seen. Nations, countries, and the continent transformed by the power of the gospel. Together we can. From Ministries, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a festive season. Let us rest and prepare for 2026 will be a big year. God bless.